Hi, this is Trevor, and welcome back to our weekly Tarot Card Challenge. Today is Saturday, August the 9th, 2014. I've put aside the cards that we've already covered, and those videos are available here on YouTube if you're looking at me on my YouTube channel, either for Trevor Psychic Intuitive or my regular YouTube channel, Trevor Thorkelson. But the videos are also available on my webpage at trevorsense.com, and that's also where you will find information about my appointment structure for individual readings here in person in Winnipeg, or the aspect of my work where I'm available over Skype for distant clients. Lots of information on my website there. Usually what I do every week is, as I said, I put aside the cards we've already covered, I shuffle the deck, and then randomly we get a card that is chosen. And last week, we were working through the Two of Cups, and I mentioned that the Two of Cups is one of the minor arcana cards, and the minor arcana generally talk more about the circumstances that are going on in life, the situations that we're traveling through. But I said that the Two of Cups, and I have it here, was kind of a reflection on a more mundane level of one of the major cards called the Lovers. Now, take a good look, because here again on the Two of Cups we've got a male figure, a female figure. I talked last week a little bit about this lion with angel wings that seems to be kind of rising up over the situation. And as I mentioned, this has some parallels to the Lovers card. Well, I shuffled the cards, I cut them today, and you're going to have to take my word for that. And the card that was drawn actually is the Lovers. So I've kind of gone back and gotten the cards together so that we can have this discussion, because there's an important parallel with the Lovers card to another card in the deck, and I'll come to that in a moment. This is why I often say, with tarot being a symbolic language, we're paying attention to where symbols and patterns come up again and again. And just as last week I was saying, this card kind of talks about the alchemy of human relationships, but on that kind of more circumstantial level. The Lovers card, which I have here, is a stronger emanation. And the major arcana cards are usually more about the lessons that are running through these circumstances. So here again, just as we had in the Two of Cups, there's a male and a female figure, and then we have a winged figure kind of presiding over the situation. But this gets into some stronger detail that we have to pay attention to. You'll notice that the male figure is standing by a tree where the leaves look like flames. And the female figure is standing by a tree that bears fruit, and there is a serpent on that tree. So that kind of gives us a reference to Adam and Eve in the garden. And then we have the angelic figure and a mountain in the background. So the image of the mountain suggests a kind of ascending energy, kind of like rising up to greater heights. This makes me think of the song, Love Lifts Us Up Where We Belong. So love being an elevating thing. And this is not just talking about romantic love, but the sense of inspiration that can be found in relationships and how that can move us forward. Now, the other very obvious thing about this card, and just like Adam and Eve, the figures are naked. And there's a number of instances in tarot symbolism, especially in the Rider-Waite deck, the kind of deck that we're working through, where figures are naked. And that's not just a reference to sex and sensuality, but rather that the rules are put aside, that what we are seeing is the truth, the true essence that's kind of being revealed and brought forward. Another interesting thing, we were talking about the leaves on the trees, and then we look at the angel's face, up around the angel's face, what could be a crown or what could be the angel's hair. There's a very interesting configuration. Now, it almost looks like the head is covered by both the flames from one tree and the leaves from the other. So we get this sense of an interaction that's going on. A lot of people's first impression in looking at this card is, well, isn't this nice? This angel is making these people fall in love. But it could also be seen that in love, we get a glimpse of the divine. So it's almost like we have the question, what's causing what? The figures are, in a sense, invoking that higher energy, and it in turn is influencing back. So we have that ascending energy. But I mentioned before that there is a comparison, and there's another card in the deck that works alongside of this one that's kind of fascinating. And I'm going to bring it forward now. Now, prepare yourself. This is a little scary, and it's supposed to be. The card is actually called the Devil. And we see strong similarities just in the layout. You notice that you have the male figure and the female figure once again. And just as we had flames on the tree behind the male figure, notice that his tail has flames, and the tail is actually lighting the devil's torch. And then we have the female figure, and her tail has fruit, just as the female figure in the Lover's card had the fruit tree behind her. Now the figures are chained, and the devil, the boogeyman, has this inverted pentagram on his forehead. And to some people that has really strong connotations of black magic and things that are evil, and really superstition and things of that nature. It also, though, does have to do in metaphysical terms with a process of initiation. So there's many different meanings and many different things that get ascribed to these symbols. But when we look at the one card having to do with a sense of what elevates, what kind of expands, and everything's out in the light of day, the brilliant sunshine, and then we look at the other card and there's all that darkness, and the feeling is of almost something like contracting and pulling down, just like that pentagram is reversed. We get this sense of density, we get this sense of constriction that's going on. And that's further kind of shown by the chains the figures are wearing. But on closer inspection, those chains aren't that tight. They could be removed. So I like to think of these two cards in a very simple way as attraction and distraction. Both very powerful forces in human relationships. And really, it kind of comes down to intimacy. And by intimacy, once again, I don't necessarily mean sex. Sometimes sex is a great way of avoiding true intimacy. I mean the business of really kind of allowing yourself to be revealed, not just to another person, but also in being loved, you're revealed unto yourself. So sometimes that can be a little scary, having to look at who you are, warts and all, and bringing that forward and letting that be part of that transformational process. So when we look at both of these cards, we get a sense of what's going on sometimes in terms of human relationships. I think after a good many years of doing readings for people, and relationships are certainly a strong topic, I could probably write a little thesis on why sometimes people are attracted to jerks. Right? And what I've found in working with the cards and working with people is that sometimes it's a situation where we're choosing someone so distracting because we don't then have to look at our stuff. Or we're playing into fear patterns that we've known again and again. So in a weird way, this unsafe situation feels familiar. We know how to make our way around in it. So here's our challenge for the week ahead. Look back on some of the relationships in your life, and they don't necessarily have to be romantic, and kind of pay attention to where these forces are present, where there was a sense of attraction, kind of lifting things up and showing us we're more than what we thought we were, or those distracting situations where fear is present. The Devil card is difficult, but as one of the major arcana cards, it's really about important lessons. And if you're going to be doing any kind of inner work, you have to be looking sometimes at what's sitting in the shadows as well. So there's a strong kind of constructive approach we can take in terms of identifying where fears have been present and where those things have been going on around our instincts. It's always fascinating stuff. So I look forward to your thoughts, and by all means, check out my webpage. There's also a link to the Facebook page, and that's also sometimes where people comment. And we'll look forward to seeing what the cards have in store next week. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.